Hey everybody, did you read that right? That's right, offensive driving. It's a favorite subject of mine, driving that is, because most people are terrible drivers. And yet, if you do a poll, most people will tell you they're above average. Well, let me say this. Only half of you can be above average if you understand how math works. And I can say that most people are not even above average drivers. And the reason is because they don't understand how to focus. They think about everything else but their driving. And I know that over half the people do not pay attention. And if you think that because I believe in offensive driving, that I must be a bad driver, then you would have to say that all race car drivers are bad drivers. It's not about what you perceive, because you have no idea what it takes to stay focused and plan ahead for what you're going to do. So let's now get into this a little deeper. Offensive. You know that there's defensive driving. There's even schools for teaching you that. The fact is, though, there's no way to have a defense if you don't have an offense. You can't have good things if you don't have bad things. People can't be good if there aren't people that are bad. Do you understand the logic? So, I've come to the conclusion that there's a way to be an offensive driver. That is not to be confused with an aggressive driver. Aggressive drivers are not tolerated in the way I look at things. Road rage, there's no reason for it. I'm not saying that you can prevent somebody else from having road rage, but they should never be angry because there's certain things about the road that are just there and you have to accept them. Accept the things you cannot change. And you can't. But there are ways to avoid them if you're paying attention. And that's part of offensive driving. Let me tell you the goals of an offensive driver. To get to your destination as efficiently as possible. That means, yes, you're going to get there as quickly as possible. But you're not going to do it. But speeding in such a way that you get a ticket or get charged with reckless driving or cause an accident is not efficient. So those things have to be guarded against. Another goal, which we'll explain a little bit later, is establishing you are an offensive driver and get the other drivers to be on the defense. Well, actually, I'm going to explain it right now. If you establish your offensive, and they meaning other drivers, realize that, then they naturally go to the defense. If you've caught their attention, now you have another driver that's actually focused on what he's doing. So that way, he's not just looking out for you, he's also now paying attention to the road with other traffic as well. So you're actually improving the safety all around you. The goal is not to endanger others. So the moves you make, the decisions you act on must be safe. But remember, safety is a perspective that a poor driver, a slow driver, is going to see differently than someone who is focused on their driving, like a race car driver. Okay? It is not a goal to piss people off. So you need to be polite to other people. Scaring them, things like that are not really tolerated. And the last goal, and this may seem strange, but is to be relaxed. You got to take what comes to you. You can't force it. Aggressive drivers force it. Offensive drivers take what is given to them. But they are paying attention. I've talked about this already. I have some notes here. This is one that I can't just talk about. I have it in a certain order. I want to point out about the focus. When I'm driving, people say, they're riding with me, of course. They'll say, did you see this? Did you see that? No, I didn't notice that pretty building. I didn't see those nice mountains. I'm driving. When you're in driving school, they tell you 100% of the time you're supposed to be focused on the road. So that's the first thing. That's something we all should be doing. And I know over 50% don't. Okay? Doesn't matter whether it's, doing your nails or talking on the phone or eating a Geno Giant. Boy, I'd love to have one of them. They were great. Or you're just daydreaming. That's not acceptable driving. So think about that when you're driving. I want to say this. Sorry I took so long, but that's just the way it's going to work with this. In fact, I'm going to have to make more than one of these. They're pushing for autonomous cars that can drive themselves. And they talk about the amount of lives that would be saved. A lot of that's due to the fact we as humans cannot pay attention. In fact, I think we're right lucky as it is that we don't have more accidents. My theory on why we don't have more accidents? Because there's a higher power. There's a God out there and he's watching over us. And that's why every once in a while things go haywire. Because he lets us think, he allows us to act on our own and then we screw up. So, all right. Let's say, you know what? I think I'm going to stop it right here and start another one so that we can keep this thing split up pretty good. So I'll be back. Look for Offensive Driving 2.